The following YCN Sports Wrap special is presented by Bubba's Bar and Grill. They have all your favorites and much, much more in Newberry Harbor. Barton Insurance, your choice for quality service and comprehensive coverage in New London and Contoocook. Top Stitch Embroidery in Lebanon, the best for your team and so much more. Mascoma Savings Bank, they're putting you first today and tomorrow. Member FDIC.
Hey, welcome to the special championship edition of YCN Sports Wrap. I'm your host, Andrew Zerhide. Thanks for tuning in. This week, we'll just be focusing on this year's boys basketball team from Lebanon, New Hampshire, as the Raiders had a very special season, making it all the way to the Division II championship game. But first, let's begin by taking a brief look at the Lebanon boys' regular season and their road to the playoffs. Lebanon began the year both on the right foot and literally the wrong foot, as senior guard KJ Maddie was benched after fracturing his right foot. But the Raiders managed to overcome his absence by winning their first 5 contests. The Raiders did, however, lose to a very good Hollis Brookline team, but finished off the season with a 12-game win streak en route to a tie for the number 1 overall seed and a record of 17-1 heading into the playoffs. Lebanon averaged 58 points a game while allowing just over 44, winning by an average of 14 points. Led by Ryan Milliken, it truly was amazing how this team filled the void left by such a crucial player in Maddie, the Division II Player of the Year last season. KJ was eventually able to come back and contribute after missing the first 12 games. Because of Lebanon's number 1 seed, they had a bye in the first round, and first went up against 8th-seeded Goffstown in the quarterfinals. The Raiders had no trouble advancing with a 62-42 win. This is where we'll take a look at some playoff action in the semifinals, when Lebanon found themselves playing against a familiar opponent, the 4th-seeded Hollis Brookline Cavaliers, the one team the Raiders lost to during the regular season. Let's now check out this tough matchup to see if Lebanon was able to get some revenge and advance into the finals. This game, played at the University of New Hampshire's Lundholm Gym, was intense, as both teams have multiple seniors who clearly weren't trying to play the last game of their high school careers. The game began with a Lebanon possession after Matthew Islander won the opening tip-off. Lebanon wasn't able to score at first, but when it was the Cavaliers' turn, Ryan Milliken managed to steal the ball from Hollis's Dowling, and Ryan dribbled the length of the court for an easy fast break layup. Lebanon would then force another turnover, and Chris Nolte knocked down a 3-pointer off an assist from KJ Maddie, giving the Raiders an early 5-0 lead just 2 minutes into the game. But Simcoe quickly put the Cavs on the board when he was able to score a bucket in the paint. Both teams battled back and forth over the next 3 minutes with little offense and stingy defense. With less than a minute to go in the first quarter, Graham Chickering nailed a 3-ball, giving the Raiders a 7-point advantage. But Cavs' Nick Fothergill canceled that shot out with his own 3, which cut the lead to just 4, with a score of 11-7 heading into the second. To start this quarter, Matt Simcoe scored a bucket for Hollis after he grabbed an offensive board and laid it back in for the second chance points. Ryan Milliken was then able to drive in traffic and score an impressive layup in the faces of multiple Cavalier big men for 2. Simcoe added another basket to make it a 2-point game with a score of 13-11. This was the moment when Lebanon turned up the heat, as the Raiders would finish off the first half by going on a 16-6 run, with Milliken scoring 10, Islander grabbing boards and scoring, and with Noah Ditabani hitting a big 3 with 2 seconds left in the half off an assist from KJ. The Raiders would take a 12-point lead with a score of 29-17 going into the break. Once out of halftime, Hollis Brookline was immediately able to cut the lead back to single digits when Steven Gianconi sunk a 3-ball. Lebanon's offense then started to come up cold as they missed their first 6 shots of the third. They weren't able to score again until the 5.5-minute mark when KJ stole the ball and scored a fast break layup. But there was a questionable technical foul call after KJ scored. Clearly there was some contact on Maddie as he went up for the bucket, and he let 2 of the refs know he got fouled and there should have been an and one call. He didn't seem to scream or say anything profane, just stuck his arm out to imitate the contact. But the ref felt that this was enough and called him for the technical. Even after the whistle, you can clearly see Matty almost laughing in shock that the ref felt he was out of line. He even mouths to his teammates, "I'm good, I'm good." Hollis would only get 1 point out of the foul, hitting 1 of 2 free throws. But this bonus point didn't seem to make a difference, as Lebanon finished out the third up by 10. And in the final quarter, with less than 5 minutes remaining, Scott Van Conen's jump shot cut Lebanon's lead to just 7. But Hollis Brookline had racked up too many second-half fouls, which put Lebanon in the bonus. This allowed Matty, Milliken, and Chickering to add to their team's lead over the final few minutes of the game, as the Raiders went on to win by a final score of 50-36. Lebanon's Ryan Milliken led all scorers with 21 points, shooting 8 for 16 from the field. He also added 3 rebounds, an assist, and 2 steals. Graham Chickering scored 9 points to go along with 2 boards and an assist, and KJ Matty scored 7 with 4 boards, 4 assists, and 1 theft. As for Hollis Brookline, Matt Simcoe led his team with 20 points, shooting 8 for 12, and he pulled in 7 rebounds. The Raiders outshot the Cavaliers with a very solid 41%, while the Cavs shot just 36. Lebanon advanced into the D2 state finals for the 2nd straight year, and this is where they'll take on the always tough Cole Brown Northwood Black Bears. What a great revenge win it was for Lebanon, as the Raiders extended their winning streak to 13 games. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when YCN Sports Wrap returns, we'll be taking a look at what Lebanon's head coach Keith Matty had to say, as well as a few players to get their take on the game. We'll be right back.